Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Miles has an autosave feature. You may be wondering, why are we starting on this screen? I don't know, because I've been meaning to talk about this, but I keep forgetting to. I just think it's so funny that this game has a pop-up that's like, bro, you guys probably don't know about autosave yet. I know that for some reason your very first video game was Miles Ace Attorney Collection Investigation time. So we just gotta tell you that's what this means. And it tells you every single time. And you gotta hit OK. Shit is so funny. And it's not like this is a lot of games do that for some reason. And I don't, like, I get it for some things. If there's a chance that it's like, this might actually be somebody's first time interacting with the digital medium, the digital interactive medium, maybe. And like an Ace Attorney game, I could see like somebody, like one of their first video games being an Ace Attorney, but brother, it's not gonna be this, man. It's gonna be like, you know, like the first one, maybe. And that would have been like on the original hardware, you know? I could see that like 15 years ago. What are we talking about? We're talking to Larry? What's up, Larry? You think I wanted all that to go visit Mindy? Can I, Your Honor, may I ask the witness who's Mindy? I remember. It hasn't been that long since I recorded the last video. Now, there is literally no, well, as of right now, the backlog is 2 minutes long. I.e., this video is the backlog. So, I don't know. I can't record a couple of videos today, so I'm probably just going to try and record this and maybe get 2 or 3 done. Probably just 2, if I'm being honest, because I'm already a little tired, but, basically, upload's still gonna be whack, man. I have not had a chance to record much at all the last, like, month. It's kind of sucked, but it is what it is. Oh, yeah, we haven't actually seen this yet. I was thinking we were actually in the trial part for some reason, even though I wasn't pressing. I dressed up as Santa and climbed up to the chimney. The smoke was really thick. It was a case of mistaken identity, and that mistake made me late for the speech. And then to top it all off, I became a suspect in a murder. That's what really you meant. But why would I ever put myself through so much humiliation on purpose? Man, some people are into that shit, you know? We don't judge. I mean, we judge, definitely, but we only judge, like, the really weird ones, you know? Humiliate, you know, that's small potatoes, man. We've all been there. Maybe. Hey! Somebody say something! Larry, are you seriously trying to submit this as not as a confession, but as testimony? So what if I am? Is there something wrong with that? My claim is a claim claiming my claim. You got a problem with that? So it was you! You're my stalker! I should warn you, it doesn't matter what you think kind of flatter you throw at me. I'm the devoted type of woman who's wholly focused on one man and one man only, and that's as long as Edgy Poo is alive. I can't drop him and be unfaithful. No, I can't. Although earlier I was tempted to tiny little bit of the wolf man, but my love for Edgy Poo, which I passed with flying colors, also stay completely below to my Edgy Poo. I'm so inspired. You're such an inconsiderate, cowardly, idiotic, all-around completely worthless man. I thought I heard something ominous just now, but perhaps it was just my imagination. I believe there is nothing further for me to prove at this point. Okay, fine, we'll see. What did she say? Devoted. As long as Edgipoo's alive, I can't drop in and be unfaithful. I can't, although earlier I was tempted just teeny weeny bit by this wolf man that was testing my love for dear Edgipoo, which I passed with flying colors. Yes, sir. What do you mean? Of course you still got something to prove. You still have to show proof that I was trying to meet up with Mindy. Proof, you say? Remember, Edgy, everything is evidence in court, right? Don't even try and say we're not in court. You mean evidence is everything in court, Larry. But I understand your point. Isn't that what I said? What did he say? Oh, everything is evidence in court. I mean, that's also technically right. I mean, they're both correct. They mean different things, but they are both logical sentences. It's just, you know, one is like, hey, you need to have evidence to back up all of your points, and you don't got a case if you don't got any evidence. You can't convince anybody of nothing. But the other one is still a nice bit of knowledge of like, hey, anything can be evidence. So don't overlook the small details, because that might let you find the little loophole to get your client free or prove they're actually innocent. But you could also just be like, hey, it's technicality. It'd be a big pain in the ass after you get this mistrial to retry them, so just let them go free, right? Very well. If you wish to see the evidence, then let me show you the last piece of evidence you'll ever wish to see. Okay, so this is, because didn't I try and present the thing earlier and it didn't work or something? I do remember that. Because he was like, yeah, who wants to prove that Larry did the thing? And then I presented it and he was like, that doesn't mean anything. What was it? Because it was definitely the note. Or no. It was this. But what were we supposed to present instead? Oh, it was the stand-in request. Yeah. Well, I've been saying for a while now. After all, if not for that, then what other reason did you wish to go down that chimney? You can't say that without evidence. That's against the rules, Edgy. Thanks for keeping the prosecutor in line for me, Mr. Suspect. I have the evidence if you wish to see it that bad lad I can introduce you to. Ah, but it's not good to keep them waiting, my subordinate. Hurry up and show them already. Lies? Oh, lies, Edgy. Well, if you wish to lie, then by all means continue. Because I'm ready to expose your lie at a moment's notice. You won't get the better of me. Now, let's see. Yeah. Hold it! Was the smoke coming from the chimney really that thick? You bet. It was so thick I had tears pouring out of my eyes. It was a mess. I see. You do realize you've just confirmed for us your chimney escapade? What? That's totally unfair. You tricked me, Edgy. What? But he already confessed that he tried to do the chimney thing. Hardly. You simply have yet to master how to counter the cross-examination technique. You gotta remember to say, I don't recall. It is possible, but I do not remember that. I have no recollection of that matter. Well, I said it was a slip of the... I mean, I said the wrong thing. Isn't that what you really mean to say about what I did tonight? Hold it! I'm not quite sure you can mistake that actress for this lady. Edgy Poo, are you staring at me? Are you finally succumbing to my feminine charms? I should think that the Steel Samurai is the one who should know all about your charms. Whether they be lucky or not. Me? Edgy? What are you trying to do to me? Nothing. Some people are into that shit. See that the Steel Samurai, and simply that the Steel Samurai and the Pink Princess are husband and wife. Oh, my poor little Edgy Poo jealous. Some people are into that shit. Ah, if you could please drop that line of discussion right this instant. Edgy, I told you I already have Mindy. Speaking of Mindy, exactly what kind of woman would you say she is? Edgy, are you seriously telling me you don't know who the Mindy is? She's just like what her name's mean. She's super sweet with this great smile. I don't mean to brag, but she's one of the troop's fastest rising stars. Interesting. Ha! You're saying a woman like that's just made you late to the speech? Huh! Curse you! Why is everyone out to make a suspect out of me? Look, all I can say is this: I was late to the speech. Came a suspect in a mueta. I suppose you might be correct in a small way. What do you mean by that? Besides being a suspect in a murder, there are a few other things you're a suspect of. Oh, not you too, Franzi. You tried to stalk me. I won't let you intimidate me like that. Look, I already told you, Miss Oldbag. I wasn't after you. I was after trying to see Mindy. Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, can I arrest this guy already? For being annoying? I completely understand how you feel, Agent Long. Well, wait, listen to what I gotta say. You have a serious assertion to make, then I consider listening. However, no problemo. I'm gonna put all I got into this next line, okay? Listen good. Why would I ever put myself through so much humiliation on purpose? Hold it! Larry, this is the final point you wish to make? You got it. I called on all the energy I have and told you it with all my soul. In that case, allow me to take that soul and break it. Huh? Yeah, we'll stamp it onto our feet until it's ground to a fine powder. Oh, fine powder? If you really put all your soul into that, then you're ready for what's coming, right? In place of the Honorable Larry, I offer my soul to you. Larry, come out from behind there and face us like a man. I would rather not. You're scary, my liege. This whole testimony is one giant confession of all that he's done tonight. He's practically begging me to show why he bothered to put himself through all this. The question is, I guess we put it on the last one. No, I hit the wrong button. They got me. They boomed me. They're so good. They're so good. And then I gotta go through it again, and then I'm gonna double click it, and then it's gonna send me through again. Objection! Larry, don't even think about denying you have knowledge of this letter. Hey, why are you showing that thing to me? Wendy, I'll be descending on you from above tonight, your loving knight. Isn't that just romantic? You weren't able to descend on her from above, were you, Mr. Loving Knight? Yeah, I got no idea what you're talking about. I don't remember a thing. He's learning. You can pretend to be ignorant all you like, but it's written right here. This letter proves that you were out to meet the old lady. Or not out to meet, rather you were attempting to pay Miss Mindy a visit. Which part of this letter shows the person Larry had intended to meet with? Well, the part where it says the name? Take that! Larry, I suggest you take up penmanship lessons. That is, if you never wish to experience this level of embarrassment ever again. What the heck? What are you talking about? Speak English! You wrote Mindy so sloppily that it became windy to the average eye. Hey, stop picking on me. It's so embarrassing. There. Is that what childhood friends are for? They're the best, aren't they? For punching, that'll have to wait until after we're out of this crime scene. Edgy, save me from the scary man. Sure, if you're willing to make amends, starting with your incredibly embarrassing mistake. That wasn't me. Come again? It's a fake. Somebody's out to get me, so that made that fake letter. And it set me off. Accept your defeat graciously. You guys are being so mean. Hold it. Penmanship analysis. What? No matter who, all people have certain unique features to their handwriting. Ergo, all we have to do is compare the handwriting in this letter to a sample of yours. I'm almost soon enough who it was that sent this letter. I'll never write another thing in my life. Hold it. It's no use, Mr. Loving Knight. For you've already graciously provided me with a sample of your handwriting. Take that! This autograph and our mysterious letter. If we compare the handwriting, we'll know the answer to our questions soon enough. Confess now, Larry, to your miserable failure. I'm sorry. I did it. It was me causing trouble again. And now I'm gonna blast off. I admit it. You hit the nail right on the head, Edgy. He finally confesses. I saw the pink princess being carried around in a stretcher and I got worried. I wanted to go into Mindy's room, but the doctors wouldn't let me. What choice did I have? It was the chimney or bust, Edgy. Your mind jumped from the door to the chimney. What a criminally overactive imagination. At least I was honest and wrote her a letter. That way she wouldn't be so shocked when I came down through the chimney. What if she was completely incapacitated? Except for the fact the letter was an utter failure conveying said sentiment. I'm sorry. Larry, you may be a shameful, good-for-nothing blight on the face of humanity. However, I always knew you weren't the killer. I told you to trust me. Because at the very least, I can attest to that about you. Edgy, you're... Ah! We've lost a lot of valuable time because of you. I was kind of thinking that. I'm like, you know, this is nice and all, but this has literally been like a complete waste of time when it comes to moving the plot forward. Which, I mean, is fine, because this is the game. But in terms of, like, the narrative, literally the only piece of evidence we got that was important is, like, the undershirt and the fireplace being connected. Basically. Everything else is, like, slightly irrelevant to the larger thing at play. I mean, honestly, even the whole murder here is, like, not really that important to the overall story. Like, this is like a side story and a side story. No. In any case, I believe we can say that we now know exactly what happened. Well, not really. Mr. Larry Butts ought to climb down the chimney. Not for access to the crime scene, but to enter the room of the elderly lady next door. Yeah, great job, Mr. Prosecutor. Although I still find it a bit unbelievable the two of you are friends. You can stare all you like, but you don't have the death gaze powerful enough to defeat me. The suspicion on that guy over there? He ain't completely resolved yet, so don't get any funny ideas about running off, okay? No, what? Edgy, what does the Wolfman mean when he says I'm not off the hook yet? He means the murder weapon. Larry, did you forget? There are 2 layers of suspicion hanging over your head. That's exactly what I mean. We can't rely on the words of a suspect after all. His words are, suspect. We may have figured out where he was and what he was doing all night, but the bloodstained samurai sword that was left at the crime scene, as long as there's no satisfactory explanation for that, this wolf will refuse to ease up on his bite. Edgy. That guy, he looks like he's serious about to take a bite out of me. I'm not crime. I'm well aware. And you should be as well, that the upcoming battle will be crucial. Thanks to the cooperation of our lovely Bumbler. I've been dealt a very nice hand and a sweet trump card. Looks like we're about to enter the final bout. Now, Mr. Prosecutor, let's see what you got. I can easily point out the contradiction in the supposed murder weapon, can we? Because I forgot there was a murder weapon until right now. There's a knife. Wrong murder? Ah, shit. Do we even, like, how did the dude die? By the way? The real problem for me is figuring out what the real murder weapon is. This will be a high-stakes gamble. This is one game I can't afford to lose. That's when it cuts to commercial break. Yeah, I was the one who found the body of the victim. The mask too. Beside him was a samurai sword, glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. Supposed to be in the Steel Samurai's dressing room, but I found it here instead. Plus I found the murder weapon's owner, the suspect, Larry Butts, in here too. Isn't that a bit far-fetched to accuse somebody simply on the basis of ownership? This owner wanted to sneak into the crime scene. Think there's plenty to go on, don't you? If you're alluding to the reason for being by the chimney, we've already established that. My client was down bad, Your Honor. That's not a crime. Not in this country. Aren't we all a little down bad sometimes? Isn't that our God-given right? To be a little down bad on occasion? Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. You two are longtime friends, right? Who's to say you didn't fabricate the evidence to give him an alibi? I didn't know he was here until a few minutes ago. You're accusing me of fabricating evidence? You think I can believe anything you produce? Forging evidence is all you prosecutors do. Holy shit, he's based. This man has some serious issues with the prosecutors. Well, I mean... No comment? Come on, I can't think of something as complicated as that, right, Edgy? Larry, I can agree because I know you and your personality well. However, Agent Long knows nothing about you. Or me, for that matter. I sense his hatred for my entire profession, emanating from his entire being. Well, you know, we feel the same way about cops. Ain't that right, Francesca? Where'd you go? Meaning the only way I can prove to Larry's innocence is to present irrefutable evidence. That I don't have. Why Larry?
Hold it!
You were the first to discover the body this time. This time? What's that supposed to mean? You better watch what you say. I only said this time because earlier Kay was the first to discover the body in Babala. Now she's of course innocent. And your secretary, Agent Sheena, was ready to accuse her of the murder for that. Tch, you gonna use that excuse to call me suspicious now? Of course not. I was simply pointing out the unusual pattern with discoverers of bodies. In the Babalese case, there was proof she was holding that weapon, right? In this one, it's a bit different, since we know exactly where the weapon is.
Hold it!
Excuse me, but glittering red and offering up the scent of blood? Do I gotta spell it out for you? I mean the sight and smell of blood, of course. And according to the test, the blood on that sword belongs to the victims. The sword was made to be used on stage, so it's not sharp. But it's pretty weighty, certainly heavy enough to beat someone to death with. Which leads me to suspect the victim was beaten to death with the sword. Beaten to death, huh? The last statement is too important to just let slip by. Okay. Let me actually look at my evidence again. Because I don't think we know how the dude died. And we do know this was moved. So it could, I think the statue is the murder weapon, but we don't have any evidence of that. And there is the samurai spear, which was bent. But I think Larry said he did that shit. And then, I mean, that was like something's been removed. Like, I mean, you could have taken like the flower rod. I don't know if you could beat somebody to death with that shit. Personally, I feel like, nah, you're gonna need something better to kill me with. No offense. I mean, maybe I'm delusional, but I feel like that's not the way my story ends, alright? There are many different ways that I might die. Getting beaten to death with a flower holder stick, no shot. It's just this. There's no universe in which that happens. All right, I would survive. You wouldn't be able to defeat me. I would just, you know, I would just remain at 1 HP. You'd never be able to take me down to, you know, below that. I'd just keep enduring, personally.
Hold it!
The sword is covered in the victim's blood. Yeah, lab results confirm the blood on the sword matches the victim's. Sword's as dull as a vanilla envelope. It's just a stage prop after all. A vanilla envelope, eh? The Steel Samurai is about safety first, so you can't use it like a real sword. The Steel Samurai has spoken. The Pink Princess also appears to have something she'd like to petition to you personally. What the Pink Princess would like to say can wait for the day after eternity. Anyway, my point is that even though the sword's too dull to slice with, it's certainly heavy enough to bludgeon somebody to death with, therefore... I don't know what I can do with that.
Hold it!
About the samurai sword, you received a report from forensics yet? They confirmed the blood on the sword belongs to the victim. But have they confirmed the outline of this wound is consistent with the weapon? Tell me something. You see the dead body right there in front of you? So, they were conducting the autopsy right now. Shouldn't that body not be here? Well, I suppose so. I guess they must still be investigating this room. Yeah, somehow they got the blood work back already? Meaning that it's still possible he doesn't know about that piece of evidence's true nature. Yeah, that piece of evidence is true nature. It's true nature. That piece of evidence is true. Yeah, it's true nature. Moved in the murder. Yeah, true nature. Anything else you'd like to chit chat about? We're about to get double fist fucked, man. And not in the fun way.
Hold it!
Larry has already testified he forgot the samurai sword. Yeah, I was shaking hands with the ambassador and he left it behind by accident. Oh, was it in the picture? No, you can't see anything. So what? You lied earlier, so who's to say this excuse isn't just another lie? I forget stuff all the time, right, Edgy? Tell him. Why don't you tell him yourself? You see, what did I tell you earlier? No one will buy such a pathetically weak excuse. Yes, well, I know it's not possible to prove such an excuse as truth. And yet you offer it up as fact. You're a worse person than I originally thought. You are free to think what you'd like. However, I know that Larry is not the killer. Agent Long, please continue with your argument. I'll expose the flaw in it soon enough. Might have to rewind time a couple times.
Hold it!
Just because he's the owner of the weapon, therefore he must be the killer? Is that it? No. Climbing all the way up the chimney is plenty suspicious in my book as well.
Objection!
Regarding that, I've already drawn the truth out, and the truth is one thing I don't bend. Doesn't matter if it's you or whoever, you prosecutors are the same. As for me, prosecutors are one thing I don't trust in. That's the shit he don't like. An agent who doesn't trust prosecutors, what are you playing at? Sorry, sis. There ain't only two things I trust, my subordinates and evidence at the crime scene. Agent Long hates prosecutors, you think? As long as he trusts evidence that has been left at a crime scene, there is something I can show him that he can believe in. Simply not possible the samurai sword is the real murder weapon. Yeah. Okay. And there's our knife. Remind me, what the fuck is the thing with the... Which part of the knife came from here? Find a blood in Mr. Cochin's blood. Nice to being a prosecutor. Now, do we know that's Cochin's blood? Okay. So the blade is Alibastian, correct? So in theory, the blade could have been in here, maybe? Yeah, the blade is definitely Alibastian. So maybe that's what they want us to... I gotta try it. Nope. It could also be on the other line, though. So I gotta try both. Confidence is like a soul, and words without confidence are but empty shells. Shouldn't waste your breath on words you got no confidence in. Okay, I don't need to be overflowing with self-confidence. I just need to think rationally. Because the only other thing is the spear, but like... Didn't Larry say he's the one who bent that shit? And there's no way it could be the murder weapon if it's hollow and bends so easily? Well, I gotta try the knife again, so... Okay. A very big flaw in your logic. Flaw? You sure not your eyes are flawed? Talk to me again when you can see straight. Alright, kind of rude. I didn't ask for these eyes. Beaten to death. Okay, the only other thing is the statue. Okay. I do not know what they want. It better not be the spear, man. That shit doesn't make any sense. Granted, I don't fully remember what they told us about the spear. Which, I'll accept partial blame, but if I'm supposed to use the spear, it should give me more information about it, you know? Not just, it's hollow.
Hold it.
Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, I must still be investigating this room. He doesn't know about that piece of evidence's true nature. He beat the victim to death, man. Beat his ass red, partner. Beat his ass. I don't really know why I can look at it. Oh. I don't even know where these came from. There's dang old photo, partner. Still got his sword and whatnot, partner.
Objection!
That shit is dumb as hell. You know what this is, Agent Long? Right? Maybe I'm forgetting. But like, I feel like, didn't Larry say he was swinging that shit around and that's why it's bent? It's a long spear, right? We used those a lot in my country a long time ago. Piercing, mowing people down. Spears are the weapon of heroes throughout history. It's the next most effective weapon after the whip. Well, actually, no offense, Franzi, but spears got a much more longer list of accolades than the whip, whose history is, well, let's not get into it. I think the whip is in a slightly different category. So, what's your point? You gonna tell me that spear's a real weapon? No. I simply want you to take a look at this section here. Okay, maybe we're trying to argue that because the spear bends, the sword is the same, but that's kind of like... we have no reason to assume they're the same, you know? The way it's bent. Precisely. Apparently a certain troublemaker hit it against a wall in this embassy earlier. As you can clearly see, the insides of the Steel Samurai's weapons are hollow. But like, my problem with that is I feel like he would notice. Like, I just feel like you kind of have to take him at his word that like, it is plausible this was used to beat somebody to death with, right? So I guess my issue there is that like it requires Agent Long to be a dumbass. In other words, they're replicas that aren't strong enough to deliver a damaging blow. Like the fact that he like noted, like he inspected it enough to know it's not sharp and couldn't cut a quote unquote vanilla folder, but he wouldn't. Like, I don't know, I was just trying to meet him halfway there. Let alone the multiple strikes necessary to bludgeon someone to death. And then plus, I kind of wish it should say, like, made of the same material as the Steel Samurai spear or something, you know? Because that was like another element that I was kind of like I said, just trying to meet them halfway and just assuming that, oh, well, maybe the sword is built different. Like, literally. Which honestly seems kind of fair. I mean, depending on like the choreography. I mean, maybe, you know, if they're actually samurai dueling, maybe the sword has to be made of firmer stuff than the spear, which is like not actually directly used. I don't know the choreography, man. I don't know. It's not like terrible, but I get what they're going for, but it does feel like it requires Agent Long to be a dumbass to like make logical sense for him to have made that argument. Yeah. Oh yeah, sword and the spear made of the same stuff, and they bit. Well, once again, the fucking notebook doesn't say that shit. Sword and spear made of the same stuff, so they bend easily. Wish they make them out of better stuff, because the spear got bent. Wasn't able to do my special early summer rain jab move. Man, I got such an earful from the director of the play for not doing it in the show. The Steel Samurai special move was changed tonight because of him? Like, we updated for that shit, but we don't update the friggin' sword to say, hey, it's made of the same material. Youch! That's more than enough of your whinny whimpering. Back on the topic of the spear. Return to the real topic of discussion. Where the real gamble begins. I don't have a real strategy per se. All I can do for now is that the chips fall where they may. Only thing I can do is take a sip of the sauce. Ooh, we're sauced up. Using guesswork and taking risks in place of real logic is hardly the Bon Karma way. It's neither smart nor very clever. Also, I gotta say, for some reason, I made a small little cup of coffee to get me through this afternoon when I'm recording a few videos, and holy hell, it tastes like absolute dog water. The fuck? Like it got replaced with poison. Terrible. Well, you know, if I die, I die. I'm not even like a big coffee taste enjoyer. I just drink it because I'm addicted and I need it to function. But like, man, that is straight up ass. I mean, I'm still gonna probably drink it, but bleh. Unlike your father, I am not a genius prosecutor. Claus ain't down his record of 40-year win streak will ever be broken. But perhaps it is for the best if it remains unbroken. Because, I mean, well, he didn't actually have a 40-year win streak, you know? He presumably, it's possible he had, like, a legitimate win rate of, like, 10%. You know, if he had to cheat on, like, all of his cases. We don't know the exact percentage on number he cheated on, but presumably a decent number. But no one should have conceived of the notion to convict all defendants in the first place. I mean, he's true. He's spitting.
Objection!
Sometimes you gotta realize your case is like fucking dog ass. And be like, you know what? We got the wrong guy. Or lady. Or lady. What a foolish statement from a foolish fool who hates to lose. It's the job of a prosecutor to make sure that all defendants are found guilty in court, but what if they're not guilty? There's nothing more important in this world than a perfect victory. What about... Drumroll, please. Justice for all. That's when you do the cut to commercial break. That may be your opinion, however, I don't believe that's all we are. Also, what the fuck are we talking about? Why are we talking about this? Did I forget? Okay, because... And then she's like, brah, you can't use guesswork. And then we're like, that's all I got, lady. As a prosecutor, what I pursue is not the perfect victory, but the perfect truth. And if that means the bridge I must cross will crumble beneath my feet, then let it crumble as I walk on towards the truth. Don't interrupt, that shit was banging. Couldn't you at least give me a couple seconds to let it rest? That was my moment, man. You immediately jump in with a not so fast? What the hell? Yeah, you gotta keep me entertained, Mr. Prosecutor. You know, humans are delicate creatures. Slightest bump and we expire. And the slightest bump and grind and we perspire. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Prosecutor? I'd like you to consider, if you will, the possibility that the sword was used in such a way the attacker killed the mask too without bending it. Well, that's just whack. So what do you think of my hypothetical scenario? I think you know what we got to do here, right? And what you need? Of course. What I need is evidence even he can't refute. Well, he just like made up a fake scenario. It's like, what if he died without it getting messed up? Like, what if his head just did that shit? What if nobody murdered him? What if that just happened naturally? You can't prove it didn't. You can't prove it didn't happen. Sometimes people's heads just explode, man. Why Larry, Part 2, coming to a theater near you. It's possible to use a samurai sword to kill someone, and under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion. We searched the embassy top to bottom. The victim's blood's only on that weapon. And only natural suspicion would fall under the owner of said weapon. How long do you intend to cling on to that preposterous theory? As long as I want, because we examined every corner within the walls of this embassy. No stone we left unturned. And we have managed to come up with only one logical conclusion. Only place inside this embassy with the victim's blood on it is this sword.
Hold it!
What about my knife? What if my knife actually has his blood on it, you know? Come on, man, it's possible. We didn't test the knife, I don't think.
Not so fast!
Like, that's kind of where I'm going with it. That or it's just the statue was used to club him and then, I guess, got cleaned off. Or it's like, oh, there's actually blood underneath the statue, but nobody checked. If you got something to say, then say it in the only way I respect, Mr. Prosecutor. Of course. In that case, allow me to make it all crystal clear for you. Alright, I guess we'll end this shit where we, well, not really where we started, because we were questioning Larry of the House of Butts. The start of the video, but now we'll go and call it since we're at about time and this is a good stopping point. Next time we'll keep on questioning Agent Long, see if we can move on to probably the next to the ladder section so that we can go to ladder, and then beat the game in a few months. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? I'm Extra Cheesy 87, see you in the next part, and bye guys.